The first MLA system was introduced in 2010. The development process was extremely long, up to about 5 years. But what that meant was that we introduced a technology that leapfrogged everything else that anybody was doing out in the market. And what we started to do is take a cellular approach to loudspeaker development, where we were independently controlling phase and magnitudes of cells within a loudspeaker, so that we could get amazing vertical coverage and control. So MLA, what can we do with MLA? So I've already mentioned control over SPL coverage, but also it means that we have control over leakage. I'm going to give you some case histories in a minute where this is some direct examples of how this is achieved. This means we can contain the sound in the audience area, whilst achieving off-site SPLs that meet some of the difficult circumstances we find in certainly inner city festivals and that kind of thing these days. We're also going to talk about something called hard avoid. Hard avoid is something that's unique to MLA, and I'll give you a brief explanation of what that is, and Jason will expand on it further later on. So some case histories for MLA. This is an example of back-to-back touring production, a big theatrical production that we've been doing for some time, War of the Worlds. And actually Simon Honeywell's the engineer on this, so again, if you get to talk to him later, he can tell you in detail about this. But this production is particularly difficult. There's so much going on. There's over 300 flying points put in to do the theatrical part of this. So time, back-to-back production, time is of the essence. So having a system like MLA, which is extremely quick to deploy, and to get a working system, to get it sounding really good straight out of the box, is very, very important. This is another example of where MLA has been used recently. This is Andrew Lloyd Webber's Starlight Express, and this was installed, this is MLA Compact, installed at the Stadion Ring in Bochum, which is in western Germany. We're particularly proud of this installation. George Henschel realised that in this difficult environment, you can see the shape of it there, that intelligibility was a real issue. So they set about auditioning loudspeakers from 9 different manufacturers over 2 days, and MLA Compact was the out-and-out winner. And so there's over 27 MLA Compacts in that installation, sounding fantastic. Now, I mentioned hard avoid earlier. If you look at this section of the screen here, you'll see that we have some control elements of MLA. So leakage being the top one, target in terms of SPL coverage being the second one, but the bottom one, the blue one, is what I just want to mention. And this is the thing I mentioned before, hard avoid. Now, hard avoid is not just the absence of sound, not pointing a loudspeaker at a given area, but is a positive cancellation of sound using phase cancellation in a given area, typically used to keep a stage quiet. But actually, we have the control with MLA to manipulate that and put that wherever we want it to be. And when we get to listen later, we're going to give you an example of how powerful that is and how we can control hard avoid. And the reason I mention it here is because this is a classical spectacular at the Albert Hall, where we achieved fantastic hard avoid, a very quiet stage for the orchestra. And if I refer to my notes, the conductor for this show wrote to express his delight at being able to listen to the orchestra and not to the back of the PA system. And we get that time and time again with classical events where the stage is so quiet that the orchestra themselves make comments that that's the loveliest stage they've ever had to work on. So hard avoid, very important and very, very powerful. This is an example from very early on in the development of MLA. This is the Tokyo Dome. Typical for Japan, especially Tokyo, we've got this 55,000-seater, very large auditorium plonked right in the middle of a very busy city environment with skyscrapers all around. So the off-site noise requirements are very, very stringent. But also, it's 150 metres from front to back. So typically, as with a big gig of this type, delay towers were used. So our friendly MSI, our friendly rental company who did a gig here for Toho Shinki, which is a Korean boy band, decided to give it a go without delay towers. And by doing this, they actually saved added 6,000 seats, made available 6,000 seats per gig over 3 nights. So I haven't done the maths really, but that's 18,000 seats for a 3-night run in a venue like this. So think from a promoter's perspective, what eliminating the delays meant in terms of revenue. Now, although there might not be a direct correlation to the return on investment for the rental company, they did have an extremely happy customer. The other thing about this gig is that the venue limit, the level for the venue is 100 dB. And what they managed to do uniquely in this venue was have 100 dB at the front seat and also achieve 100 dB at the back seat as well. And like I say, whilst achieving very little leakage from the building, so therefore not upsetting the residents. So this was, like I say, this was a few years ago that we did this, and now I have to say Japan is sinking under the weight of MLA. It's probably the most successful touring product in Japan at the moment. Another case history for you is very recent. It was last summer, and it's Hyde Park, headlined by the Rolling Stones. Again, similar sort of story here. There's a bit of a checkered history with this event, where in previous years, lots of complaints. It actually made the national press in the UK that people had gone to Hyde Park and had such a bad experience because they had to keep the levels so low that people just weren't enjoying it at all. Of late, using MLA, we're able to get that audience level up to proper gig levels and not upset all those rich residents down Park Lane in London, keep the local authority happy off-site as well. So that was a huge success for us last year, and I'm sure it will be again this year too. So MLA has won lots of awards, AV Awards and the Pro Sound Web Readers' Choice Awards and a Gold Award at Plaza for both. This is for both MLA and MLA Compact. And the baby one has just started winning awards too, but it's very new, so it's got a little way to go yet. Thanks very much.